Introverts, how did you meet your girlfriend? Lamau, what's a girlfriend? Smiley face, crying face. I met her at a gaming club. I was playing D&D, she was hanging out with the MTG crowd. She caught my eye from afar, but, being an introvert, I never went up to her. All my social energy was being spent on the D&D, I had none left to leave my close friend group and greet someone new. If there's one hobby you can do while being solitary, it's writing, and that eventually led me to NaNoWriMo. I got to talking with some of the people on the local forums, and one of them turned out to be her. She invited me to a write-in with a bunch of locals. I didn't really want to go out, but now this girl I liked was directly inviting me out. I couldn't say no. We became Nano buddies for the next couple of years, and started hanging out outside of that. We spent many nights during her senior year of college hanging out at her apartment, watching various shows and writing together. Then she graduated and moved away, and we slowly lost contact. Flash forward 4 years. I'm still single, a semi-regular poster on /r/forever alone, and resigned to living single for the rest of my life. She pops up on Facebook again. We've been Facebook friends since before she moved away, but she rarely used the site. Now we're chatting, and soon the chatting moves to Skype. She's thinking about moving back into town and wants to know if I'd go around looking at apartments with her. She does the several-hour drive and we look at a few places, hang out for a while, then she goes home. A few weeks later she tells me about this cool nearby theme park. She does the several-hour drive, we hang out for a while, then she goes home. This goes on for a month or two, and I'm just the densest idiot that ever deserved to be an evolutionary dead end, because I'm not realizing people don't just drive for hours to spend a little time with a friend. Finally, in the most adorable Skype message I've ever gotten, she asks me if the next time she comes down it could, maybe, possibly, if I want it to, be a date. I told her I'm someone who enjoys happiness, so of course yes. That was 2 years ago. We're getting married in July, and we still laugh at how dense I was. I moved to the school that she went to. I didn't really fit in anywhere, but she had a friend I thought would make a nice girlfriend. Coincidentally, she had a crush on a guy I sort of hung out with. We conspired to work together. Well, it clearly failed miserably. Her friend had zero interest and turned out to be manipulative, constantly putting down my future girlfriend and making her a quiet, embarrassed slave. As for the guy my future girlfriend was interested in, I held a party at my parents' place, and I remember her coming in dressed to the nines to get his attention. She looked amazing to me, but unfortunately didn't get any response. We commiserated and hugged each other for the rest of the night. This led to being study buddies at the library, which led to hanging out at her place, which led to more cuddling. We watched Return of the King 5 times at the cinema that year, but we never saw the ending, smiley face. Anyway, we've been going out for 14 years, married for 4. I can't imagine life without her. Oh, that's easy, I didn't. She needed someone to teach her calculus too. I decided not to correct her in her thoughts of me being smart. Almost 3 years later we're still together and just graduated college a couple days ago. I think a lot of people here are confusing being introverted with being socially awkward. I kidnapped her father and then his daughter, and she fell in love with me through Stockholm Syndrome. Anyways, we kissed and she broke the curse that stupid witch placed on me. She got drunk and was all over me. I just played it cool and didn't do anything. She was very aggressive, but I knew I would be taking advantage if I let it go anywhere. With the knowledge of her interest, I called her the next day. She was embarrassed, but we started dating soon after. We are married with 4 kids. Hadn't dated a girl since high school. Then when I was in my junior year in college, my friends started bugging me to get a girlfriend. I proceed to not attempt to get a girlfriend. At this time I was a little depressed, hated my major, and had no idea what to do in the future. Then I accidentally start talking with a girl I met on Overwatch. Keep talking for weeks and eventually date for several months. I also switched majors and last semester got a 4.0 for the first time in college. I was able to open up more to her and built up a lot of confidence. Then we broke up partly due to distance, which sucked I guess, but that experience got me more confident with dating, and I decided that I wouldn't waste time in the stages of grief and stay single for another 4 years, so I immediately downloaded a dating app. Here I am a month later dating a girl who lives much closer and things are going great and moving pretty fast. 6 months ago I had no idea what I was going to do with my life, and now it feels as if everything has turned around for the better. We were in the army and both of our supervisors told us that we needed to attend a formal event. She, raging extrovert, was one person over from me, and I, raging introvert, couldn't take my eyes off of her. Got the nerve up to ask for her number. We married 6 months later. That was 29 years ago next week. Science bowl practices in middle school smile. We lived at the same apartment complex. I was trying hard to get in shape, so I was doing one of those workout videos, one of the P90X or something like that, and my sliding door was open for ventilation. She was passing by and asked if she could work out with me sometime. We started working out and eating together afterwards, like 3-4x a week. Then we started to hang out more than just to work out. Didn't take long till we were married. Deleted. I didn't skeptical. Now single, but my ex, we met because a friend introduced her to me. Was pretty good until, like all things, it fell apart. I hired a matchmaker service. It's just lunch. Tinder. She said I was 10/10ths. I'm not. She's wonderful too. I didn't. I'm alone. Sent help. At a club, but now single. I started my first job in October and she started working there mid-November. I first saw her at her first interview there. I thought she was really pretty and that I should talk to her. I never saw her until our holiday meeting where she was wearing this cute top with black leggings. Once again I didn't see her until the beginning of December. That was when I told one of my co-workers how I'd like to hook up with her. My co-worker told 2 other co-workers I liked her, and that's when one of them went up to her and told her I was into her. Later that same night I got a text from a random number saying, "Hey, what's up?" I responded with a "Sorry, who is this?" She then responded with telling me who she was and how she got my number. After we went of a couple of awkward dates, mostly on my part. We kept hanging out until I invited her to my family's Christmas party. After a couple of beers in, I saw her and I knew she was the right one. We've been dating for almost 6 months. I sat next to her in my discrete math class because 1, she was the only female in the class, 2, the back of her head looked ridiculous. She asked if I wanted to study for an exam, gave her the eye at a coffee shop, and the rest is history. A bit late, but I literally stole her phone one day during lunch and put my number in it, then gave it back to her. 4 years later she's still the love of my life. A job at a rock climbing gym. She was an exciting, lively, cute girl. The exact kind that never talked to me. We hung out before work, after work, but always at work. For a long period of time we were in a cycle of me suggesting a date, her shutting it down, a week of awkwardness, diffusing and restarting. Finally, after a whole year of this, I decided I couldn't do it anymore. I stood up for myself and moved to California, then Europe. During this time we both held a few relationships, but we stayed in touch, giving each other advice as we went along our separate paths. One summer I was back in town and we met up to hang out, at the old gym. We climbed and talked just like old times. As we left she turned to me and asked what we were doing next. We went to the local state park, hiked, swam and had the greatest of days. The next week we went on a climbing trip. One of the nights we casually discussed getting married. How we didn't want to see each other date anyone else anymore. How we wanted our first kiss to be, how we always knew would inevitably end up together. It's been 6 years of my best friendship and 3 years of a totally excellent relationship. We're going back to that place we camped at in August and I can't wait. My dorm room door was open and I was watching Archer, so her friend walked in out of nowhere and started watching it too. Soon she walked in and sat down on my floor. 2 years of her walking in and sitting various places in my room later, we started dating. Online. Duh. Till women and gay men can't be introverts.